Real talk fishing with no limits, brought to you by Seaguar High Performance Braids. Seven reels, keeping your lines tight, and clean cutting station by Rufflin Kennels.
Hey folks, Brian Bashore here with Seaguar Line, and as a professional tournament angler and guide, what connects the angler to the fish is one of the most important aspects of fishing for me. I'm going to tell you about this fairly new, it's been around a few years now, Seaguar Line PEX8. This is a braid. This is an ultra thin 8-strand braid from Seaguar. If you're in a high pressure kind of fishy area where you need to be really sensitive and precision, this is the go-to stuff for those high pressured fish. Finesse fishing, it is your key. Castability, this is a 24-pound braid with a 15-pound diameter. You can cast this stuff a mile. It's gonna just come off those reels real nice and slick. Sensitivity, you don't lose any strength with this braid. It is still just as strong as anything out there, but ultra thin, castability, durability, awesome. If you're like me and you fish a lot of rivers, it's gonna help you cut that current as well. Check it out at seaguar.com, PEX8.
Hey folks, thanks for tuning in to another episode of Real Talk Fishing with No Limits. Today we're going to talk going to Nebraska, western Nebraska. Talk a little bit about Lake McConaughy, no other but Lake Mac Spoiled Guide Service with Brad Hahn joining us today. Brad, how's it going over there on the big sand pit of Lake McConaughy?
Pretty warm right now.
we kind of, the heat's not a bad thing this time of year. Get some fish going though.
Yeah.
So let's go back a little bit here. You're guiding on Lake McConaughy. Just talked about a little bit. You're coming up to South Dakota here later in the summer now, or now you transition into the salmon fishing. Coming up to South Dakota, Lake Oahe. Let's go back a little bit to your guide service on McConaughy. How long you've been doing it? What got you into it? And that kind of stuff.
So I started about 12 years ago. Did it part-time on the weekends for one season, and then ended up going full-time. This is my 11th year full-time. Tournaments really were what started me in guiding. I did decent in tournaments and sort of used that momentum to build a reputation on Lake McConaughy, and it's been pretty dang good to me. So
that's kind of the story most of us have. We start out on the weekends, which is how I encourage everybody to do this. If you are looking to venture, instead of just kind of jumping all in, unless you have endless supply of money to where you can do that, to build up a clientele, to figure it out, see if it's kind of for you, and kind of a secondary, tournament type income type deal, help you build that reputation up a little bit. It's kind of the story for most guides, kind of the path that most take, and certainly the one I would definitely recommend until you kind of get going and before you make that leap. I know Takasaki Ted, when he traveled with me a lot, always said, don't go full-time fishing until you're making enough fishing part-time to replace that full-time income, which is, pretty hard to do, obviously. But yeah, I don't think a lot of people realize that you ain't getting rich doing it, but you're doing what you love. So
exactly,
there's always that, but you gotta be frugal, and you gotta find your way around things.
I worked in the oil field before this, so I sort of enjoy fishing, guiding fishing a little better. So
yeah, that's some tough work, but obviously the money isn't quite the same as oil fields to fishing by all means. But it's guy can save up for some years doing that kind of work, get your boat, get your equipment, you gotta get you grounded basically before you take a leap.
Exactly.
So, and you got some competition out there. I mean, it's an open market obviously, but McConaughey's got, I don't know what, 4 or 5 guides at least probably working out there. I know James Hardesty is out there guiding now, and some have gone. I think Steinke doesn't guide no more, right? Jerry's kind of retired.
Robbie and Justin, probably the 2 most reputable. Yep.
Oh yeah. Yep. Good handful of them. But for people that don't know McConaughy, tell us a little bit about that.
When I first started guiding, we had trees, and that's sort of how I built my name and everything. We lost a lot of crankbaits, a lot of baits, spinner baits, and everything, and we slabbed in trees. We lived in trees, and this year's definitely brought a big challenge to us because for the first year ever in July, we didn't have any trees to troll or anything like that. So this year's been like learning a whole completely new lake because we're sitting at about 27% currently right now. So
Yeah, you got
Yeah.
some super low water going on there.
Yeah, there's a ramp they had to go find that they used back last time in the drought days, but hopefully we get some snow in Wyoming and we get some inflows next year. So
Yeah, I remember a few years back it was super. I mean, this is basically the largest reservoir in Nebraska. It's a little bigger than Lewis and Clark Lake, but either state seems to want to declare that fishery as their own. But it's same kind of layout. It's long. It runs, east to west. You got a few bays, Martin Bay, and what have you, but deep water structure has always been the trees. It's kind of the whole. Dan Ferguson came up with the whole spinner bait. Pulling those spinners on lead. Through the trees is where that kind of Elwood Reservoir where it got started. McConaughy is where it's kind of been living for years and effective. And it is a place with some monster walleyes. It doesn't get the recognition it probably deserves because it doesn't have a lot of big national tournaments there for whatever reason. Obviously the low water issues. It's a reservoir though, so it's made for irrigation. And you got the Platte River that runs into it. And if anybody's ever seen a Platte River in Nebraska, it's pretty wide and it's pretty flat and it doesn't have a lot of water. So you're very dependent. Sure. Yeah. You're very dependent on that snow melt coming out of those mountains. And then plus you have Colorado, Nebraska, Kansas has a tri-state water agreement type thing. And it all starts basically coming out of Big Mac there. But trophy walleye, the walleyes, low water ought to make it easier in a sense if you can get your boat out on there, right? Because they're all,
yeah.
Right.
I think
once you find them, you're on them.
Yeah. I think we'll have a terrific fall. Yeah.
You just need some water in that place. So
yeah, I remember we can launch boats.
Yeah, I've been there years ago. Slabbing in the fall. Last time I was there was a tournament. We pulled some slow death through the trees. The alewives is what that is still the main forage base there, I assume.
Oh, definitely. Yep.
Which I wish we had them everywhere because they're a very fatty bait fish. I think it's better than a smelt, and that's why you got such trophy freaking walleyes there.
Yeah, those alewife are catch-22 a little bit, and the state sort of identified that. They make it tougher to get the small walleye to get to, eating on, bait fish and stuff. But once they can get up to that about 8 to 10 inch range, they're in good shape. So, but that zooplankton, the alewife deplete the zooplankton in the lake, and that's a big deal. They're trying to definitely work on out here. So.
They stock in shad or smelt or anything in there? Smelt.
Oh, you don't have to stock any bait, and it's the alewife are just so hardy and so abundant that
they're thick.
They just need to stock walleye. Just keep stocking walleye.
Just more walleyes, and obviously you got wipers, which I absolutely love. And since I moved to South Dakota, I haven't caught a single one. But a wiper's folks listening in, a wiper's a cross between a striper and a white bass, and they get not as big as a striper, but a hell of a lot bigger than white bass, and they're absolute blast to cast. If you ask, I love them. 14-10 is my biggest out of Harlan. Top water, you're catching them trolling. They're there, and they're probably continuing to put those in there because I imagine they're eating up those alewives good.
Well, that's actually one thing I wish Game and Parks needs to. They sort of decided that walleye fishermen don't like them in Nebraska, and they haven't stocked wipers in McConaughy for about 6 or 7 years. So.
Really?
I'm hoping they start stocking a little bit more because those are a good secondary fish, and McConaughy needs good secondary fish. So
yeah, I know.
Really fun.
Yeah, I used to. Sure, they get annoying if you're in a tournament and you're cracking on wipers, and it's not like you just hook in one and you just rip it in quick and toss it off. It's going to take you a couple minutes to get this fish in. I've seen rods break. I've seen people fall out of their boat catching them. These things are. But it's an awesome topwater fish too when that bite's going. I know guys are trolling the dam and getting them up there. But I heard them last year, 2 years ago, the guys at Harlan were kind of complaining that there was so many wipers that they couldn't even get to the walleye, and everybody there loves, doing the night fishing and just trolling for the white bass. In South Dakota, they call them silver bass. People aren't the biggest fan of the white bass. But I know Nebraskans, when I guide them, they come up, and we've got some, schooling white bass finally going now. I'm like, hey, they're blowing up. Let's go get them because that's fun. I don't care who you are. That's right. That's action. And as a guide, you're like, we'll take this all day, especially if the walleye bites, slow, but Absolutely. It may not last that long. So jump on it while it's happening and catch those. And these are like, 2+ pound white bass, but your wipers are like 5+ pounds, 10 pounds.
Yeah, yeah. Most of the wipers in McConaughy right now are about 9 pounds because they just haven't stocked them in a while. So 9 to, I mean, the state record got caught out of here probably 5 years ago. It was 23, around 23 pounds. So
23. I remember I lived there. I think it was Red Willow had it for a long time at
we
20
had
or
Steve
something.
Weigel.
And
Yep,
you know,
yep.
yeah, that's a huge wiper. That's big. And any stripers showing up anymore? I mean, that
Oh no,
used
they're
to be
gone with the
stripers there
dinosaurs. Yep.
years ago. And then randomly there would be one caught here or there, but I haven't heard of any for quite a few years.
Early 2000s, the last I heard. They didn't reproduce successfully in McConaughy, so didn't have the inflows for the eggs to roll down river, is
No.
what I was told. So never did reproduce ever in McConaughy. So whatever they stocked is what was in that lake. But yeah,
Yep, and that's kind of how the wipers are, folks. They don't reproduce either. It's a hybrid. It's a genetically basically created fish. That's Nebraska's got a lot of them. Kansas has a lot of them. I'm not really sure if they really put them anywhere else, but they're a great fish to put in when they want to control like a white perch or some kind of invasive bait fish because the suckers devour a lot of stuff.
yeah, swimming stomachs.
Yeah. Yep. They're awesome. What you've been guiding out there? You guys you've been whacking them pretty good. What's the go-tos? We live scoping them. We still pulling cranks and spinners, or spinners not such a deal without the trees, or
I fish all over the Midwest, and more often than not, I find myself with a nice limit of fish, wanting to take some home for dinner, and there's no cleaning station. Early in the season, late in the season, if there are cleaning stations, they're usually closed up, or you're camping, or you're real primitive somewhere. But the solution is the Clean Cut Station by Rufflin Kennels. I always have this thing with me in the truck. Comes in more handy than I can explain. Not just for cleaning your fish, cleaning your small game. If you're having parties, cutting your ham, Thanksgiving, you can flip it over, make a party bowl out of it with, put your chips and dip and everything in it. It is extremely handy, very versatile. But mine's in my truck, getting clean, using it for cleaning fish most all the time. Absolutely love it. I don't leave home without it. Check them out at rufflinkennels.com, the Clean Cut Cleaning Station.
Actually, this week was sort of something different. We were on a pretty good white bass bite. Had a lot of family groups. A lot of times this time of year, we get one last hurrah.
Yep.
All the families. They got school coming up the next week or two, and you really see an influx in family trips. And had a lot of kids in the boat this week. And what better way to get the rods to bend? And we
Yep.
started putting spinner baits out, bass style spinner baits, like big eye spinner baits, and we were catching really big white bass. We caught some big walleye on them. We had a 9.5 pounder last week, walleye. We had a triple on wipers, and then went back through and had an 11 pounder. The wipers ended up knocking out 2 reels. They just absolutely stripped the reel.
They do
But
damage.
boy, they were
Yeah.
fun. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah. You got kids in a boat. I mean, white bass, you're just like, come on, baby. Where's them white bass at? Let's go.
exactly. Yeah, yeah. They just want that pole to bend.
Yeah, we've moved on to the catfish this last week because the walleye aren't biting very well. So,
Oh, we had a lot of catfish this week too, and you just reel them in, clean them, and just it's that time of year.
yep. Most people, as a guide, they don't. I mean, they're a lot of them are coming out the Big Mac to catch that trophy, just because you're at a fishery that has that potential. But like you said, it's family times. You get these last minute trips before the kids go back to school. Most people just want to catch fish.
Yeah, my first 2 years of guiding, I really thought I was just a walleye guide, and then
Mm-hmm.
probably my third year, I decided, I'm not a walleye guide, I'm a fishing guide, and
Yep.
when you just go fishing, and most people have a good time just going fishing, so and get that
Yep.
rod to bend.
Yeah, I actually had an evening trip yesterday. I was like, what do you guys want to catch? Does it matter? And they were like, they don't care. Boom. Right to a tree, drop a jig and crawler down. 10 catfish in that 3 to 8, 9 pound range. And they were like, whoa. A 4-hour trip turned into about 2 hours. They were like, I'm good. I'm kind of worn out. And I was like, well, we'll go over here and try to catch some walleyes, and got a couple keeper walleyes, pitching some jigs to them. And a lot of little ones were biting was about it, but there was a ton of them there. But that was a little bit more work than just dropping over. They kind of just wanted to hang out. It's evening. You can drink in the boat in South Dakota since I'm driving it, having a beer, dropping it over. When you get 5-pound channel cat, you know how those suckers fight. So, and when you especially got to get it up out of the trees quick. So, yeah, you're a fishing guide first and foremost, right on.
Exactly.
And you guys, I mean, Western Nebraska, Ogallala, so even way out there, for people that don't know where it is, look it up, Lake McConaughy. Denver is probably your closest big city. I imagine that's where a lot of your clients coming from.
Yeah, yeah, 3 hours away from here, and I get a lot of Omaha Lincoln though. I think
Yep.
that's sort of why I decided to do the South Dakota deal because Omaha Lincoln they either go north to Oahe or they go to west to McConaughy to go fishing. So definitely a lot from Omaha Lincoln.
What you say you're at 20? You're at 27% below pool, or you're only at 20% pool right now? Is it
27% full right now.
full? So that's pretty bad. That's real bad. I think it
Losing
was
2 foot a week.
Jesus. Yeah, it's irrigation time. It's probably been 10 years now. I remember you were 30-foot low one year. I mean, typically McConaughy is a pretty deep lake when it's full. And had
Still
a good
100
snow
foot.
melt. Yeah. What are your deep spots right now?
Well, I mean, right by the dam,
Right. Well,
there's probably a football field stretch of 100 foot still. I'd say the average area of the lake right now is probably about 60% of the reservoir is probably still 50 foot deep. So, I mean,
okay.
it's
Yeah.
still there's still a lot of water out there. People on
Yep.
the east side of the state, they think it's just a big old puddle, but it's still even at 27%, it's still the biggest lake in
Yep.
Colorado, Nebraska, and Kansas and Wyoming.
Yep. Yeah. That's still deep. It's still a lot of water. Like I said, it was about 10 years ago. Had good snowmelt. Water was coming. Good spring rains. They're like, hey, it's filling up. I think you're 30 feet low going into it that spring. And the Nebraska game fish was like, yeah, in a few years we'll be a full pool. 3 months. It took 3 months.
It
was
can
full.
happen in a hurry.
Yeah, it kept raining and the snow kept coming, and it took 3 months, and it went, okay, we're there.
Yeah.
Maybe it was full.
There's so much negativity around the lake right now. It's just, people think it's the end of the world, and it's done this 3 times. I mean, in the late 50s, early 60s, it was this low. In the early 2000s, it was this low. And, it's a reservoir, like you said earlier, and it fluctuates. I mean, we're not going to be in a drought forever, and we're not going to be in a flood stage forever. It's just, it's going to cycle.
Yep, it does, and we hope it continues to cycle and cycles upward. Water is a commodity that is definitely taken for granted in this country. People need to be a little more mindful of it. But I mean, you're obviously over the largest aquifer in the world, pretty much. But that's not what fills up the lake. So we need the snow, and Colorado got next to none that last year. I know my son went out there to go snowboarding, and I think it was early January, and he sent him pictures of Colorado. He's like, it's brown. There's no snow. I mean, so believe it or not, folks, they still make snow in Colorado on the ski lifts just for those purposes. And it's pretty high up, but it does happen. And we'll see what this winter brings. It could, like I said, it happens fast, and that place could fill up next spring real quick. 27%, it's got a long ways to go. It may take a while, but
won't go over the dam. I promise you that. But we'll take every drop we can.
Yep. You just mentioned South Dakota, so you're wrapping up your season down there. Been good, I take it. Obviously, the water's low, but fishing looks like, according to your Facebook, you guys are catching them. But fishing's been pretty good. Yep. Moving on up, going to spend the rest. What do you spend? All August, September, October, or just a couple months up here
just
chasing
August
the salmon?
September. I'll be. We'll be taking trips on Lake Sharp, below Oahe, and we'll go for those good eaters, and then if a group wants to go for walleye, and then take a large chunk of our groups like to go salmon fishing on Oahe. Just when I ask a group leading up to the trip, do you want to go walleye fishing or salmon fishing? A lot of them say we got walleyes back home. Let's go salmon fishing. So that's.
Yeah, I've never done it. It's not. I mean, not really well known, or there's not a lot of guides really doing it up here as much. But Lake Oahe's got some salmon. I mean, they got a hatchery. They're stocking it. They're putting the salmon in there. A lot of October gets it. There must be when they're spawning or whatever. Because the guys are up there on the shore catching them. I don't even know what our state record is here, but it's pretty good. But Lake Oahe is pretty damn good salmon fishing if you know what you're doing. I don't know what I'm doing, so I don't go salmon fishing. So what's the tricks to that?
Oh, just troll. But I think you were talking about not many guides do it up in South Dakota, and I think our client base here at Lake McConaughy. We talked about McConaughy being a trophy walleye fishery, and a lot of our clients have the patience to grind on. A lot of our groups aren't always. We got to get our limit. They're chasing. They catch 2 to 5 walleye a day, and they're big. They love it. And then I think that's that's the difference with South Dakota guides is their groups all want their limits, and
Yep.
I guess we've instilled a little bit more patience with our client base. So, just because they sort of just go trophy fishing, and that salmon fishing sort of like that trophy. You're looking for. You're not gonna like. They ask me what their limit is on salmon. I said, don't worry about it because it's probably
Don't worry about it. We're going to catch a salmon today. We're going for a big one, you know.
yeah. We're gonna go for some salmon. And it's
All
crazy
right.
the amount of money we get on those salmon. So, but boy, we had groups last year. Had one group go home with about 100 pounds of salmon fillets. They had like a 3-day trip and 100 pounds of salmon fillets. It's crazy how much meat come off of them. But
Yeah, that's a lot. That'll last you a while. We're spoiled up here in South Dakota is why everybody wants their limits. And that's just what they think. They see you catching, hundreds of fish a day and they're on that. And there's no size limit on some of those lakes up here in the upper river parts through July and August. So keep, some of the photos you're seeing, they might look better, but they're not. They're 13, 14 inches. Where I'm at, we don't have that option. It's 15 inches and I probably wouldn't keep them any smaller than that anyway. We need those suckers to grow up and get bigger. Lake Oahe is obviously a trophy walleye fishery. I was just there for the walleye throwdown, and there was a lot of big walleye caught, and it was pretty damn fun. I'll definitely be back for that. But the salmon, yeah, they just don't get targeted. But like you said, when people come up South Dakota, they're just thinking limits of walleye. But when they come, if they're always fishing in Nebraska, who isn't necessarily known for its great fisheries, which, I grew up there fishing Harlan County and McConaughy and Calamus, Sherman. You don't come by limits a whole hell of a lot necessarily. There's obviously times of years and days that are good, and I've had great days at Harlan and great days in McConaughy. And McConaughy being the best, I think, hands down fishery in the state. Limits a little more brevable up there, but in South Dakota, that's expected.
exactly. Yep. Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah.
always good to qualify the client. What do you want to catch?
No, very much so. Nothing worse than having a group get in your boat and they're like, well, what time do you think we'll catch our limit? And you're like,
It'll take all day. We'll get those. We do half-day trips, and it's like, what do I need to go full day? I'm like, you need a full day, and then maybe you're done in an hour. I don't know. Maybe you fish the whole full day, and you're still not limited out. It's fishing. It could be awesome one day and horrible the next. So
exactly.
We're going through some of that up and downs right now with these funky cold fronts and it's August. There's an absolute ton of bait in the system, which you're going to see when you get up here to Lake Oahe as well and go, wow, there's a lot of bait in that system. Sometimes these fish aren't really willing to eat anymore, but they're going to sometime throughout the day.
Oh yeah. Yeah. We deal with that daily at McConaughy with the Walleye. Yep. So
how are you targeting the salmon? What's the go-to? What do people expect?
Flashes and flies. Yeah, flashes and flies trolling. So
flies. So that's like big streamer type flies down there, basically.
Yep.
And then that flashers, whatever it is, those are like 4 to 6 inches or something like that.
Yeah, $20 piece of plastic.
Yeah, that this is a few feet up on a leader that gets their attention. I assume is what the flashers are all about.
Yeah, it's supposed to imitate a feeding salmon.
Right. Okay. So it brings them in, and then they obviously see the fly, which is intimidating to bait fish roaming back there, and then wham. But that's a hard fighting fish.
Oh man, yeah, they're really equivalent to a wiper. They fight really, really good. Yeah, I'd bet it'd be quite the competition who fights harder, salmon or a wiper. So
downriggers,
dipsy divers, copper line. We can run 8 rods. If we have enough people.
And 100 foot, 80, 100 feet, or I guess depending on kind of where the herring's hanging out.
A lot of them are 60 to 80 foot, and 150 foot of water. So
they're on the lower end. Yep. Are you going out of Spring Creek? You go out of Spring Creek then, or
the south 20 miles of the reservoir? Yeah, and we come out of Cow Creek, but we stay at the Outpost Lodge.
Outpost Lodge. Okay. Yep. So yeah, most people are, and there's clearly trophy walleyes down there as well. The Governor Cup fishes on the lower part. We just fished in the, I guess, Akaska Mow Bridge, 212 bridge. I guess I call that the upper part. It's not fully the upper part. I'd say Mow Bridge and above is probably the upper. That's kind of the mid. But man, a lot of big walleye. Lots. There's a few salmon caught up there during this last tournament.
Yeah, we don't do a lot of the walleye on Oahe just because I think we get there, and I mean, there are walleye definitely getting caught when we get there, but it's sort of the slow time up on Oahe
Yep.
when we're there. So, um, uh, a lot of our clients they get that trophy walleye out of their system at McConaughy, so we're
Yep.
not really bringing them there to Oahe for those trophy walleye.
Yeah, August and September can get tough. That a lot of them come back late fall. Try to get those when they're really feeding like crazy. And last fall didn't go very good on Oahe. Didn't go very good anywhere
We
up here
heard.
because it didn't get cold. So I mean,
Yeah, it
you're in
didn't get
November,
cold
the water
either.
temp was still like 50 to some degrees. So you're waiting for it to drop to really trigger that and kill some of that bait. And it just, when it got cold, like 10 degrees outside, but the water temp was still 40s. Like you're not taking your boat out in this crap. So I guess, you kind of needed to go move a little ice in December when there was a skim on it, and then they were finally biting good. But yeah, that's Mother Nature's kind of putting us on a little roller coaster lately. But I imagine Big Mac's the same way, right? That fall bite. I mean, is it still a
Yeah,
slabbing
yeah.
type thing?
Oh, definitely. Yeah, October, November, and I had trips all the way up until February is the only month I didn't guide on McConaughey. Um, we uh we had ice finally come on for 3 weeks on McConaughey, but we don't ice fish it because it's too much
Right.
sand, too much. It's just
Yep.
that's not safe. But yeah, we had actually our winter bite was probably better than our fall bite, but I guess we really didn't have a fall. We didn't much have a
Yeah.
winter either.
Yeah. I mean, you were just south enough to where the fall bite turned into a winter bite for you because that's when it got cold enough. We started freezing up when it was good. So basically, been an early ice bite, but I'm on the river and I ain't getting on that crap, just like you said down there, not until we got really, really good ice. And that came in like early January, but I think I was back on Chamberlain by Valentine's Day, mid February, I think, where the river was open and flowing. So, which is the advantage we get up here with rivers. So,
Yeah, October. I think October will be a really good year this year at McConaughey as long as we can get cold for once. And I mean, they're not going to have a lot of places to hide this year, so
yeah.
they're going to be sort of a fish, in a barrel. Because I'd guess we're going to get around the lowest the lake's ever gotten by September when they finally shut the irrigation off. So
Yeah, so we'll see what it brings. I mean, we've had some falls where we've got a lot of rain and what have you. And I mean, I think the farmers are kind of doing all right. You're irrigating down there, but up here we could use a little rain. We had over the 4th of July week pretty good run of rain, and then pretty hot and pretty dry since then. So it just kind of is what it is. That stuff's out of our control and the elements. And obviously, as a fishing guide, you're really dependent upon the weather. So
oh yeah.
I mean, more than most people understand that your livelihood it blows, right? It's too windy. It's not safe. You can't go out, or in your situation, or even on, the river sometimes there's no water. You have no job. There's no lake, right?
Exactly.
Or you're moving to South Dakota to guide on the reservoir because McConaughy.
It's tough to be a fishing guide without water.
Yeah, it's pretty tough. It's, and then you obviously have, GFP's management, or DNR people call it. I'm South Dakota, Nebraska. We have game fishing parks where there isn't any fish because the systems weren't managed, or a kill off or whatever like that, happens. I think they do a pretty decent job out there. We do a pretty good job up here in South Dakota. For the most part, I think all these fisheries, are fishing good. We just seen monster weights come out of Green Bay for the NWT tournament. I don't, you're live scoping a bunch down there, I imagine, as well. And people complain and we're destroying these fisheries with all these tournaments, but I don't know what your take is on it. How is Nebraska fisheries fishing? But I think overall fisheries are pretty healthy, and I think numbers look pretty good.
I think McConaughey always fishes tough because there's a lot of bait in it, and I don't think that's a bad thing. I'd rather have sort of a finicky fishery and know the fish are there than just have like a 3-month stretch where everyone catches fish and pontoons are catching limits, and you can just see the fish aren't doing well. But I mean, McConaughey's in good shape. The walleye are in very good shape. The live scoping deal, it's tough to implement with clients sometimes. That's one thing I'm not quite perfectly perfected that. We do a lot of trolling just because McConaughey's got a lot of open water, and we do a lot of trolling with clients. But
yeah, the scoping with clients is if you got 1 or 2 guys that want to learn it or show it or play with it, that's about it. Or you use it to kind of maybe find some fish and then tell them where to throw or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
But you have suspended fish out there, and in that case, blind casting isn't going to really do you so well. You need to be, it's a whole video game. Watch that. Lewis and Clark, I don't have that issue because our fish are going to be, they're not suspended. So I did catch a suspended one there today scoping, but very few. And like when you get to Lake Oahe or on Francis Case, where, what you would typically use to troll and get some, now you can obviously get them a lot quicker, but it's a 1 or 2 man show again. And it's casting,
Kids in the
crawler.
boat. And, I don't.
Yeah, no.
I
Get the
don't
rods
like
out,
doing
bouncers
that.
out,
Yep.
cranks. Yep, and just go to town. But I mean, the fishery's good. And those fish are so fat down there. I've been trying to get there the last couple of years. I wanted to film. It doesn't sound like this is the year to go because there's no boat ramp hardly to use anymore. So is it Martin Bay or what are you launching out of?
Spillway low water ramp just came out. So they're able to. They found it. They didn't know if they were going to find it, but they did. And I credit Game and Parks for looking for that and finding it. But it's in good shape. It's actually a pretty good ramp. They built it back in like 2004 to 2006. It just kept adding on as lake kept dropping.
Was it buried in sand? Was that the?
They had to dig sand out, and they didn't even know quite exactly where it was, but they found it, and it's actually got a great drop, and it's a good ramp.
Nice.
But,
I know.
Martin
otherwise,
Bay,
Martin Bay. Is it? Are they still putting it?
It's going to get tricky.
Are they still putting in with the tractors? Or is that?
We take them both. We come out of vans most of the time, so
Vans.
that's really nice with clients. And I'm sure with your clients, you don't know if they can back a trailer, or they're going to lose your boat on the dock, or but vans, you hire them $20 in and out, and it's great.
Yep. That sounds like the way to go. I don't know. Maybe I'll still get it there if August tapers down. August is usually a slow month for us up here, but right now it's booked. Today is the only day off for at least the next 10. So that worked out good to get you on here quick. Talk about McConaughy. What are you fishing any other Nebraska lakes, or you're probably just too busy? You don't get away. Any tournaments coming up out there?
We take some groups out to Sutherland in the early spring, and they catch their limits. And we did a little bit of enders, but it was a little tougher this year. It was good last year, but we primarily, take groups out on McConaughy. That's sort of the draw out here.
What what county is that? Kingsley, or what do they call it?
Keith County.
County. Yeah. Yep. Keith County. I know I used to do some stuff with the tourism gal there, but they're doing a lot. I know with GFP, you guys had a big project on McConaughy redoing. I don't know if it was Admiral's Cove or Martin, the big marina, right? Redoing the whole thing.
Martin
Did that
Bay,
ever happen, or did they get kind of started and put on hold? Is that what happened? You have
Martin Bay, they got it done. It was $3 million to do the boat ramp, and I've used it about 12 times. They've gotten it done. They got it done about 5 years ago. They got a nice fish cleaning station there, but the low water sort of made it to where we didn't get to use that ramp a lot. But big thing in McConaughy is the dam right now. That's they had a shelf collapse on the dam, and they don't really know what they're going to do quite yet on that dam. They're talking about either putting a bunch of rock on the dam in 2029 or concreting the whole thing. So that'll be interesting how that plays out.
Yeah, I mean that dam's been there in
85 years. Yep, 85 years.
Yeah, I know they've done some at Lewis and Clark on Gavin's. They put some pressure relief. They're like giant holes back, behind the dam on the flats near the campground. It looks like they put a bunch of septic tanks in. You just see big round lids on the surface, but they were pressure relief. So I'm not sure people understand how much water. In your case, not a whole lot, because the lake's low, but you're still talking 100 feet deep with the water coming at it. That's a hell. I mean, the Missouri River's, it's moving, so we got a lot of water pressure. Versus your inflow is pretty minimal up there, especially right now. It's next to nothing.
Cubic feet a second. Yeah.
Yeah, ours are minimum. Just the power plants are 20,000 cubic feet.
Mm-hmm.
That's just a power plant, running generation. But that's a lot of pressure. It's a lot of dirt, but that's a lot of water pressure moving on into those things. So
the dam's not actually leaking. That's what a lot of people are, the rumor out there is the dam's leaking. The dam's not leaking. Just the rock on the dam that protects, it's a dirt dam.
Yep.
The rock on the dam that protects the integrity of the dam it fell down in that level, and they just don't want water hitting that, because then it could start washing out the dirt.
Yeah, so it slips.
Yeah, CNPPIDs, they described it as it's like painting your house. It's not urgent, it's not immediate, but if you
Put it off, it's going
let
to do
it go.
damage.
Yeah,
Right.
exactly. The
Yeah,
dam's not
almost.
gonna fail. It's
Yep.
just they got to figure something out.
But if it's like that for 10 years, it will, or it's going to start to erode and trench through. And so basically you had it slipped is what it did because of, imagine it's
It's
hitting it.
scared.
Yeah. It's
Yeah,
burrowing underneath it. Yep.
we had a 4-day wind of like 70-mile-an-hour wind, and it just had one of those shelves collapse, and yeah, the elevation where that problem is 3220, and we're currently sitting at 3207 feet above sea level. So it's high and dry, the problem area. So it's not even. They would actually raise the lake above that level if we got the water. They just bury the problem, and the court. That's what
Well, they
they
would never
said.
know it. Right. Of course,
Yeah,
now's a good time to
as long
fix
as
it while you
waves
can
don't
see
hit
it.
it.
Right. I
As
mean,
long as waves don't hit it and erode the dirt that's there, they're fine with it. So
well, it should give them a little sense of urgency to only advantage of when the water's low. I know we're looking at some of this up at Lake McConaughy as well. As now's when you go fix a lot of these things. Go fix these boat ramps. Go fix the dams. Go do all this. Take advantage of the opportunities while this water's low that you can't obviously fix and see or adjust any of this stuff when the water level is where you want it to be. So hopefully they get on that, and your governor there stops hijacking the GFP funds and lets them get some work done on some of these places. So I know that
that was a hot topic out here. That's no
yeah,
doubt.
they're trying to do some work at the Wygall Marina, Lewis and Clark, and same type of deal. They started it in the fall. It's been closed all this year, but the project has went from a massive scope to this big, and they basically have dredged it out, adding a few boat slips, but not near what it was expected because he took a lot of their funding.
They did that out here too. We had a Star Wars fund that was going to go towards a big marina here at McConaughy, and I think that Star Wars fund had done $64 million in grants, and we all of a sudden found out we weren't going to get any of it, and our county commissioner went down there and said, "No, we want some of it," and they're going to repave. They're going to pave the Burma Road that goes into Divers Bay, and I think we got $12 million in that, 64 million, but they're going to repave Burma Road, and they're also going to pay a redo Vans Road, and then it also goes into Eagle Canyon. And then if there's enough funding left, they're going to do another boat ramp on the north side, and they might be able to find additional funding to do another boat ramp on the south side, but we'll have to see.
There isn't hardly any boat ramps on the south side, is there?
Nope.
Why
There's a
is
lot
that?
of private ground, but
No,
a lot of private
access.
ground.
It's not just it's private, and there just really isn't much access over there, is there?
Exactly. Yeah.
I mean, I've gone and stayed at Vans. So if people are coming to McConaughy, what are their options? Where can they go? Where can they stay?
Kingsley Lodge, if you want to be on the lakes, probably the best place to stay.
That's on the dam, isn't it, in the corner?
Yep.
Okay,
It's
I've stayed there.
the other places are unfortunately quite a ways away from the nearest boat ramp with our water levels. But yeah, there's only 2 launches on McConaughy currently, Martin Bay and then this low water spillway, and we're probably going to lose Martin Bay at some point this year. So it'll be 1 boat ramp on Lake McConaughy.
Right. So yeah, I stayed at Kingsley, which is like the motel there on the dam, and then Vans Resort. Right. That's about all there really is, isn't there? Otherwise, I stayed at friends' houses out there.
Vogels. Vogels is a nice area.
Oh, Vogels, not Vans. Vogels is where I stayed.
Yep.
Yeah, excuse me.
Yep.
Vogels.
Yep.
Because he's got a little bait shop and stuff. He's got the stripers up on the wall from the 70s.
Vans is a campground. Yeah.
Yep, Vans campground. And then you have Admiral's Cove, I think, right? Which is probably
that's another one. Yep.
Yep, which I think has a restaurant and little motel or something there, which isn't on the water anymore, though.
It sort of is, but it probably won't be later this summer. But
that's just far enough west, right? That's about the end of it. They're like on the tail end of it.
There's still about a mile of water.
Okay.
It probably goes up to Spring Park, which is about 2 miles from Lemoyne, but that's going to dry up quick because there's only a couple feet of water in that area. And, losing 2 feet a week, it's gonna start drying up really quick.
And seasonal, what's the best time to head there? I mean, anytime you can go fishing is the best time to go. When's McConaughy kind of get going? When's its peak? Most places, May, June.
It depends on what you're after. If you're after big walleye, I recommend most of my groups come in late April to early May for our post spawn bite. That's really good.
Right.
If a guy's really good, like a sort of a hardcore walleye fisherman who likes to cast jigs, I love the pre-spawn, which is late March to mid-April. But throwing a jig's not for everyone. I
No, no.
really have to, sort of vet my clients. If a guy just wants to go pull, baits or something that time of year, it's going to be a miserable time because we exclusively throw jigs. But if you're
Yeah.
after big ones and you're really hardcore walleye fisherman, late March, early April. If you're sort of a casual fisherman, want a big walleye, late April to early May for our post spawn bite. And if you're after, more quantity, I'd recommend the month of June into early July. We actually had a game park started stocking 20 to 25 million walleye a year out here. And we've really, the last 4 or 5 years, we've really seen influx of eater walleye. And a lot of people complained that they weren't catching eater walleye about, 2, 3 years ago. But this year was, we had a lot of good 15 to 20-inch walleye in our summer
That's
season.
that's exactly what you want to see.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. They don't all just, start at 25 inches out here in
Right.
McConaughy.
I mean, it
So,
makes that trophy a bonus, and you can stumble into them more when they're mixed in with some of those. But with those alewives, those things are going to grow so fast. I mean,
exactly.
yeah, that's a big number for stocking 25 million, where most places are lucky to hit 1.5 or something like that. And a lot of the Missouri River isn't even stocked. It's all natural. But yeah, you got to stock that place. They spend a lot of stocking in South Dakota on the glacial lakes. They are stocking some in Oahe and stuff like this in certain areas, hoping those fish kind of stay in those areas just because, the numbers get low or whatever. But
a lot of them are fries, so the success on those is probably astronomically low.
Yeah.
But they stock about 1 to 1.5 million fingerling, and they have a lot better success rate. Still, how the stocking goes. It's not it's not great. But
yeah, and also it's like the spawning. Okay, you got a million of them put in there, but it's like 3% or something survival. It's still hundreds of thousands of fish. But that's why the nut stocking numbers are so big. I don't even know what it is. 3% of spawns, I think, because like I said, the fry they turn into bait, and then we had the problem with them on Lewis Clark when they tried to stock. This isn't working because there's too much current. They're just getting sucked right through. And then they had
the alewife, or what really is the biggest. What they've said is the alewife are the toughest obstacle in stocking and natural recruitment in the lake, because the alewife are. But the biologist Daryl Eichner told me that the alewife are like the best zooplankton predator. The way their gills and their mouths are set up, and they just really deplete zooplankton in a reservoir. And so, like I said earlier, that's their biggest obstacle, is trying to get those fish past that point where the zooplankton is their diet.
Right. Yeah. That's so zooplankton is particles or the microbioorganisms that are in the water that paddlefish eat and baitfish eat. That's what they're eating. Obviously, a minnow can't eat another minnow, so it's eating plankton, and alewives are basically bait that are eating the plankton, which makes it hard for young of the year fish to have anything to eat because you lack plankton. Same kind of deal Asian carp do. That's why they get into fisheries and ruin it, because they deplete it of all the plankton, and then you don't have any bait. You don't have bait. You don't have, the game fish there. So it's one of those never ending type of deals that just sucks, right? Just kind of goes. Yep. But you still got the trout fishing below the dam there on the backside and all that jazz.
Yeah, I've heard that's pretty good. I think Lake Oahe is a little slower, tougher, but the Keystone Canal and the North Platte River below Lake Oahe is, man, I saw some people cleaning some trout, and they were 3 to 5, 6 pounders. So definitely the best trout. Yeah, the best trout fishery in the state, hands down.
Yeah, hands down. And because the water's coming out of the, obviously the bottom end of that dam, so it's cold. And however, I've been back there. It's been a long time, but I haven't fished it, and so I know we might drive by again as we go to the Broncos game here in late October. And if we take that route, we'll have to take a peek. So my wife's never seen it, but I gotta, and she hasn't been to Ole's yet neither. So when I used to always go that route when I lived in Lincoln, I'd come out, and you always got to stop at Ole's. So
absolutely, yeah.
So if you don't know Ole's, it's people look it up. Ole's Big Game Bar and Grill, right? Is that what it's still called? I believe. So
Yep.
you want to talk about I don't know if it's a hole in the wall, but I don't know what else is in town there besides the co-op. But it's a good place to grab
Nebraska.
good place to grab an elk burger or whatever, and see all the taxidermy, the mounts on the wall, and good people, good food, good time, good place out there. I got some friends that are still out that way, and they fish out there, and yeah, I got to get out there. It's just a cool place. So it's just a big Nebraska. It's kind of known. Waters are a little dirtier, a little muddier till you get to McConaughy. It's sand.
Exactly.
It's a sand freaking lake. Waters. I think. What's your water clarity out there now? It's got
It's
to be
good.
really.
At times divers will have 10 foot when they're spearfishing of visibility. Like we were talking, you were talking about catfish. I tell you what, it's tough to a Lake McConaughy catfish is probably one of the better catfishes to eat, and
Mm-hmm.
definitely in the state of Nebraska. I mean, you clean those things and it's nice white meat. You got maybe a tick of yellow at the top, but you catch catfish in other areas, and you can tell the difference.
Yep, for sure. I kind of say that with the river cats. I'm like, these are a little better than some of the lake ones where that water's. Lewis Clark's hot. I mean, our water temps are in the 80s, but same deal. They're not as yellow. Some have a little bit more tint to it. But I'm like, you don't want these muddy water, hot water cats in the summer aren't going to taste good. If you got a river where it's cruising, that's better. But obviously, you got a crystal clear lake or something like McConaughy, then hell yeah, that's what you want. Especially, and they're eating that fatty bait. The old rumors in the days from the divers. So you got a lot of divers that spearfish out there. Was they'd always say there's McConaughey's got catfish the size of Volkswagens down there. I swear I've seen them. They'll eat humans.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
I'm
don't
not
think
sure
that
about
was
that one.
I'm
We've
not sure.
seen some flatheads. 46-pound flathead was the biggest flathead we've ever gotten out of the lake. But actually, the channel cat sort of stun out here. Go to Calamus Reservoir in Nebraska, and they
Yeah.
get 20-pound,
Yeah.
channel cats. But there's been some nice channels, but most of them are biggest one usually is 15 pounds. But
Yeah, we had a 15-pounder. A little kid caught the other day, and I'm like, that's you don't want to eat that one, but I'm like,
mhm.
he wasn't very old, and I thought he was going to break the rod. But his dad was a big man, and he helped him. While we both helped him. It took a little while, but he was probably like 6, 7 years old. I was like, just reel, just keep reeling. That drags loose enough. I'm like, it took him 5 or 10 minutes. I'm like, it was probably a 13-pounder, but we just caught like an 8 and a 9, and I'm like, this one's a little bit bigger, and it was 20 feet, 29 feet deep. So it wasn't, 50. It wasn't too hard. It didn't take forever to get up, but it did. But that little kid it was good to go after that. I think he needed a nap, and about 2 o'clock, we took him in, and Mom picked him up. He was done. I'm like,
Oh
yeah,
yeah, that's what it's all about.
he caught a few big cats, and was like, oh boy. Then his brother got to catch a few after that. I'm like, he did catch the biggest one of the day. He gets that gold. I think I actually might have hooked it and like, come here, buddy, come over here, and had him the rod. And I'm like, Dad, you're gonna have to help and hang on to this rod too. But I'm like, don't hold it up here because it's gonna bend all the way back to the handle. That St. Croix was definitely being tested. I should probably throw a couple catfish rods in a boat. Good time for an ugly stick. So
Oh,
for
absolutely.
sure. Hey, all right. For those folks that are listening, they want to find you. They want to go check out and chase some of these trophies, or just have a good time on Big Mac there, or they want to go get some salmon at Lake Oahe. Where can they find you? How are they going to get a hold of you?
You can call me 970-580-9229 or get on my website, lakebigmacspoiled.com, or, Facebook. I'm on Facebook too, so you can see how we're doing on Facebook, and, see the fishing report out here at McConaughy, or, the next 6 weeks up at Wahi.
I may have to give you a shout and jump in for a day on Oahe and try to maybe go do some video and chase some of these salmon for once. So you
Yeah,
guys got to
that
go
sounds
catch
awesome.
one. So, man, I live here. I should probably
Exactly.
go. I had a buddy that does a little bit of it, and I haven't talked to him for a while, and he hasn't been doing it. I was like, all right, I'll come out in the summer. We'll go, because he's got it. He lived in Pierre, and he's kind of got it dialed in where he can go out and catch, a couple salmon. But yeah, I'm kind of, like I said, I don't like to fish super, super deep. I don't hate trolling by all means. I don't mind trolling, but that's the name of the game. That's how you're going to get them. So
The salmon, they don't get the bends like the walleye do. So if you
right.
didn't want to keep them all, they actually do well, and you can let them go. But
Oh, I'm catching salmon. I'm eating that gun.
yeah, exactly. They're good to
I
eat.
love me some
Yeah,
salmon. So,
absolutely.
if it's how big are we talking over here on size wise on these?
Biggest one we've caught is 20 pounds.
20.
I'd say the average probably going to be 10 to 15 though.
That's good size salmon. Is our state record here? I want to say 40, but I could be wrong. Whatever your skill or experience level is as an angler, you deserve a fishing reel that contributes to your success and satisfaction on the water and never detracts from it. From the makers of St. Croix rods, Seven Reels, spelled Seviin, is born of 7 decades of design and manufacturing expertise, industry-leading angler support, and the American family ownership dating back to 1977. Seven Reels are designed and crafted for high performance and unrelenting reliability. Verified at least 16 different ways by extreme torture testing at Seven's one-of-a-kind Park Falls, Wisconsin laboratory. Seven Reels are also proven on the water by the most demanding professional guides and tournament anglers. So by the time a Seven reaches your hands, it's ready for anything you throw at it. Guaranteed by the best and easiest warranty in the industry. Disappointment happens, but there should never come as a result of your reel. Seven Reels are tested, proven, and guaranteed to be the most reliable on the planet. Check out the entire lineup at sevenreels.com.
What's that? I didn't get that.
I can't remember the state record in South Dakota salmon. 40. I want to say it's 40 pounds or something, but
I think it's 31 or 33.
That sounds more like it. I'm thinking 40 sounds a little excessive. I know the Nebraska state record came out of Lewis and Clark, and it's like 4 pounds. There's no salmon in Lewis Clark.
You know, the coho salmon records out of McConaughy, 1971, 5 pounds. But
okay,
they probably have kings. They had kings at Lewis and Clark. Is that what? Are they probably?
Yeah, well, it got washed down through the floods.
Yeah.
So I mean, I caught a couple rainbow trout this year, and they don't survive in there neither. But they dump them in at Fort Randall in like March or April. Kids fishing day. Hey, everybody come out, catch the crap out of these trout. You know, because they're going to die in a little while. Well, some of them are surviving. They stay up in the fast water at the dam where it stays cool and they get deep. And then a few of them have made it 30 miles downriver where we caught them. I'm like, well, just keep it because it's not going to survive. This lake isn't very deep and this water's 84 degrees right now. So yeah, they're rainbow trout. They're not digging it. They're not liking it. So anyway. All right. Awesome, Brad. Good to know. You got me all a little excited. I might be reaching out to go chase some salmon for a day. You guys pretty booked up, or you kind of just getting a few days here or there, or you get a little time off?
No, I'm booked. I hit the ground running August 13th, and I don't have another opening till September 19th and 20th. I got 2 more days left at the very end. We did so good booking up there that we decided to extend another 5 days and almost got that all booked up. I got 2 other guides going up with me, Shane and Bert, and Shane's about full in that whole time frame. He's got some late September. Bert's got some late September, but we'll have three guides running every single day for 6 weeks up there. So
awesome. Well, shit, I better get on your website, get my day booked in there. So we'll see what holds. I'm kind of bouncing around a little bit more, trying to film stuff and just go do some things like that because you're not that far, 4 or 5 hour drive for me. So
no, not
worth every penny. And McConaughy is 5 or 6, and two things I need to get done. Maybe we'll get them done here in late August. We'll see, or September. September's just kind of some weird fishing, and when the walleye bite sucks, but it's kind of a pre-spawn. So I imagine salmon's kind of a really good time.
Yeah, that water column is where those salmon like to be, sort of gets smashed down in the heat of the summer, like August and September, and that's why I think that's why it's sort of a good time to get away from McConaughy and then have a break from tough fishing, and salmon's been a heck of a cure for it.
Yeah, hell yeah! Come up here to beautiful South Dakota and then chase down some salmon and good eats, man. Boy, if there's something that I don't know if I'd say better than a walleye or not, but pretty damn close. It's got to be salmon. So, got to be
absolutely like sharp. Those walleye, they're just
Lake Sharps.
Catch a lot of it.
Yeah, definitely. People want to go catch a salmon one day, book a multi-day trip. You want to go catch walleye one day, go to Sharp, and plenty of eater walleyes in there. plenty of them, more than enough.
Fishery. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
And it just keeps. You just don't see the big ones there. They're obviously there because that place is reproducing so well, and majority of that's natural. But man, is there a lot of eaters, and eaters this year have been on the higher end. I mean, there's a nice 18, 19 inch year class in there, so you're gonna probably do real well on your days. You get to go mix it up, and that's nice too to kind of switch up. Except for the fact that you got to swap gear all over, but.
No, luckily you just really need bottom bouncers on that, so I keep them up in the front of the boat and all the salmon gear and the big compartments and my 2200 Skeeter. So pretty lucky. I don't have to swap that stuff out too bad.
Yeah, yeah, that's good. Well, that's guide life for you, right? So it
Yeah.
all comes with some work. So that's how it
No,
works.
it's not just going fishing. That's no
No.
doubt.
Yep, did a radio show the other day, and it's like, what is a normal day? When does it start? When does it end? I'm like, well, you can add at least 4 hours to your 8-hour guide trip. Yeah, it's like
Oh,
the time
definitely.
your morning, ice, bait, travel, fuel, prep, cleanup, fish cleaning. Then you get in. If you're like me, living in a camper, you got your emails, your phone call, all that. And they don't do it during the day when you're on the water with clients. So you're answering all those calls and stuff that evening. It's just, we're probably a little crazy. Do it because we love it.
Exactly. Yeah. Sometimes it'd be nice to have a secretary, but you're your own secretary. So
Yep, secretary. That's what they said. I said, nope. I'm my own accountant, secretary, and the social media, website, everything.
yep, jack of all trades, master of none.
Yep, it's an all one man type show here, and the other guys obviously are working and doing that stuff. But the business side of it is usually best done with a one thing. And maybe someday all of us will have 10 guides and a receptionist of or whatever the case is, or I'll gladly be that person and sit in the office and do all that, and everybody else can go fishing all day, and then I'll go just fun fish when I can. So, anywho. All right, Brad, thanks a ton for joining us today, folks. Check them out over there on Big Mac's Walleye Guide Service. Catch some salmon at Lake Oahe. Go to Lake McConaughy and chase down some trophy walleyes. I know I want to. But it's been probably 10 years. Last time I was there was for a tournament. But, man, just a cool place. Great fishery. I don't think I've really ever had any bad days of fishing, but I've been blessed with some of that awesome Lake McConaughy storms that roll through that area. So it gets wicked, but it's kind of what same stuff that happens up here on the Missouri River. So you don't see it coming.
Don't mess with anything out of the Southwest.
Yeah. Yep. It gets wild. So, all right. Thanks, man. And thank all you for tuning in and listening to this episode of Real Talk Fishing. Tight line. Stay safe. We'll see you on the water.